So the next step now, like I talked about, you want to revisit your website. You want to make sure that you've got it optimized for search and that you've got it optimized for conversion. And so when I look at the typical plumbing or HVAC website, typically what I'm seeing is, a 3 to 5 page website. Home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us. And while that's a good start, it doesn't necessarily give you the opportunity to show up for all of the different things somebody might type in if they're looking for your services. And so just as an example, within plumbing, there's a lot of things people might type in if they need a plumbing service. They might type in plumber, plumbing, plumbers, water heater repair, bathroom remodeling, tankless water heaters, leak detection. Within HVAC, again, another large list: air conditioning, AC repair, furnace repair, heating and air conditioning. And so if every page on your website can only really be optimized for between 1 and 2 keyword combinations, and there's this many keywords and more that somebody might type in when they're looking for what you do, the natural conclusion is that you have to have more pages and you have to have more content on your website if you want to be showing up in all of the places that people are searching for you. And so when I say revisit the website for search, obviously you want to keep the core pages: home, about us, services, coupons, contact us. But you want to go deeper than that. And the way I see it is, under services, you want to make sure you have pages for every one of your services: drain cleaning, leak detection, water heater repair, etc. And then we know within plumbing and HVAC, you're typically serving between a 35 and 50 mile radius. And within that radius, there's a lot of little cities that you touch. And so if we want to make sure we're showing up in search for all of those little cities, we got to make sure we have pages on the website for each of those cities. And so just a visual representation of this, because I've done this presentation in various forms over the years, and I found that when I show visuals, when I share case studies and examples, that's what seems to resonate and connect with you the best. And so here is an example under services. This company's got pages for every single one of their services, and it can just drop down just like that, or you could have it set up when you click on your services page that you have links to all of these various service pages. And I do see you guys' questions: Keisha, Richard, and Anthony. Anthony, thanks for joining us. I'm going to make sure that I address these at the end of this little block of content, and so just hang in there. I'll be definitely answering those questions. So pages for each one of your services. And what I'm talking about is, so for the emergency plumbing page, have a page specifically written for your city and emergency plumbing. When you need an emergency plumber in this area, you can contact our company. Have a page for the water heater repair, right? With content written specifically for your city and water heater repair. And you go through it and you make sure you have pages like this for every one of your services so that you have a placeholder in search for each one of these. I'm going to talk about how to optimize these pages as we go, but right now just think about building out for each one of your services, and then in each one of the sub-cities that you operate in. And so just as an example here, we've got service area listing each one of the cities that this company operates in, and then you make sure you've got a page for each one of those. So, city 1, city 2, city 3, if you're looking for a Middlebury plumber, we can help. Now the caveat to this is, every single one of these pages on your website, whether it's your service pages or your city pages, need to be completely unique. So you can't just use the same content on every single one of your city pages. You need to spend some time to think through how these pages are written and make sure that they're different enough from each other that Google doesn't perceive it as duplicate content. And that's a very gray area. It's kind of a fine line. But if you spend the time, if you spend the energy, you can come up with a way to make this content unique and start to rank for a variety of these different keywords. So now that we've thought about our website and how to build it out, the next thing we want to do is make sure that the website's set for conversion, right? I said revisit your website for SEO and conversion, because you can have the best SEO-based site in the world that ranks #1 for your city combined with all your services, But if it doesn't convert into calls, then what's the purpose? So what can you do in order to make sure that your website has all the right elements that connects with the customer on a deeper level and makes them say, hey, I want to call these guys, and I want to call them right away to do my work. So obviously having a clean navigation flow is where you want to start. Either along the top, top navigation bar or along the side. Have the links to the main pages on your website: home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us. And so have navigation that makes sense and is logical for the user. From there's a lot of different things on the web page that you can do to enhance the probability of conversion. And if we can help you go from every 10 visitors driving 1 call to every 10 visitors driving 2 calls, that doubles the profitability and the amount of leads that you can pull out of your website for the same amount of traffic. So it's definitely a worthy exercise to make sure your website has these conversion elements. So the first one is, and this seems really drop dead obvious, right? Have your number in the top right-hand corner on all the pages of your website. Just having your logo and some additional information in that header graphic on your site isn't the best play. We found that eyes tend to naturally gravitate towards the right-hand column, top section of the website. So having your phone number prominently on display and telling them, hey, call now for immediate service is one of the most obvious things you can do that will improve your conversion ratios. The second thing is have a section on your website where they can request additional information without having to hit a Contact Us page. And if you've got your website built on WordPress or Joomla, it's pretty simple within the sidebar widgets to put a request for contact form. And I like the idea of having that request for contact form on just about every page of the website. So whether they're on the drain cleaning page or the water heater repair page or the subsidy page, they can look to the left, type in their name, phone number, and description, and now your team has that contact information and can follow up. Have links to your social media profiles prominently on display on the website. This can give them that extra level of confidence where they can go to the website, learn more, to the social media profile, learn more about you, see some additional photos, and kind of get a personal flair for the business. Along those same lines, having your credibility symbols. So if you're Angie's List Super Service Award, have that prominently on display on the sidebar of the website or somewhere on the website. If you're BBB with an A+, have that on the website. Those types of credibility factors that people look at and say, okay, this is a quality company that I can trust, will help your conversion. On the footer section of your website, make sure that you've got your name, address, and phone number. This is, just makes it easy for the consumer to find the information they need, any section on the website. But it's also important for the Google Map optimization, helping Google understand where you're located and what your true name, address, and phone number is. Now, the next conversion element that we found to be surprisingly powerful is using real people and having real personality infused into your website. If you have a website that has stock photography, just picture of, that random plumber holding the wrench and smiling, or, some random family happily sitting at their home, it's not nearly as powerful as having real pictures of the team, of the owner of the company, of the office. Real photos, real videos tend to resonate and will significantly improve the conversion from visitor to caller on your website. Within every block of text, make sure that you have a clear call to action. And so this again seems obvious, but if I looked at 10 plumbing websites, I would find it not done on probably about 8. Every page of your website has a block of text, whether it's the drain cleaning page, the emergency plumbing page. You want to give them a call to action. So whether that's call now to schedule an appointment, click here to take a look at some of our online reviews, or have somebody from our team contact you. Give them the next step, whether that's to call your office or to take that next step to get additional information to feel confident they should do business with you, whether it's a reviews page or a coupons page. If you're the kind of company that's comfortable offering special offers, incentives, discounts, definitely have a coupons page. Make sure that your coupons look like coupons. I've seen a lot of cases there are coupons on coupon pages on or special offers, but they don't look like coupons, and so they almost get ignored by the subconscious mind. As cheesy as it looks to have this little cutout on your page, we found that it improves conversion and it improves the amount of people that are coming in and saying, hey, I've got a coupon. Make sure that your website is mobile friendly, right? This is important, from a perspective that more and more people are getting to the website from their mobile devices. This will significantly improve conversion. If somebody gets to your site from their mobile device and it's not mobile ready, and they have to scroll left, right, up, down, they have to write down your phone number and then rekey it into their phone, they're going to press the back button and they're going to go to another website. So this is just an example of, very user-friendly, condensed version of a website. You can hit that click to call button and automatically the call action will be in place and they don't have to rekey that number into the phone. And so these are the types of things you want to be thinking about and revisiting your website to ensure that it's really set up for conversion. Remember, conversion is if we can get the people that are coming to the website to take the next action, which is to pick up the phone and dial you, then that's where the revenues really start to come in, and that's where you can maximize the potential for your website online. All right, so now that you've built out your website and you've really thought about the conversion elements on the site, the next thing is to make sure you've optimized the pages on your website for search. Because how often does it happen that you go to Google and you're typing your service, your City Plus Plumber, your City Plus AC Repair, and you're not ranking. And you're looking and you're like, man, I'm not showing up on this page. What gives? What am I doing wrong? And there's a lot of things you can do to give Google a stronger indication as to what your homepage and what your sub-pages on your website are all about. And, there are literally hundreds of pages and hours of content on the topic of search engine optimization. But within the context of your plumbing and HVAC business, the main things are really having properly optimized title tags, H1 tags, using your keywords within your images, using your keywords on the URLs within your content. If you do those basic things correctly, you're going to start to give Google a strong indication as to what your website's all about. So again, let me give you some visuals as to what I'm talking about with this title tags, H1 tags thing. So I've got a visual up, and you'll see a spot there where it says optimize title tag, and it's pointing to the top bar on a web page. And if you go to your website right now and you look at that title bar, you'll be able to see what your current homepage and your subpages title tags say. Title tags are one of the most obvious things that Google looks at to say, okay, what is this page all about, and what should this page be showing up in search for? And what I see in a lot of cases is that title tag will say the company's name. So if the title tag is, if the company's name is Joe's Plumbing, then that title might read Joe's Plumbing. What you'd rather do is make sure that the homepage is targeting your main keyword. So if you're in Orlando and you're a plumber, you would want that title tag to say Orlando Plumber, and then your company website, and then some additional sub-page, sub-keyword. And so an example of how you would do this, don't leave the title tag the same across your entire website. Have a different title tag on all of the pages of your website. So homepage might be Orlando Plumber, emergency plumbing page might be emergency plumbing service, water heater page might be Orlando emergency water heater repair. And if all you did was go back and tweak your title tags and of course update the content on these pages so that they had your keywords that you're targeting for that specific page, you'll be light years ahead in terms of where your website could rank within search. And again, H1 tag directly below that. And then most importantly, the content. So if it's the emergency page, write a good piece of content about, if you've got a plumbing emergency in this city, we're the company to call. And give them some tips about what to do in the event of a plumbing emergency and why your company is uniquely suited to solve that emergency situation. The content portion of this is extremely important. Latest algorithm that Google came out with was Hummingbird, and it really changed the way Google serves results. And it's really more based upon answering questions that people have. And so the more you can infuse question and answer type content into each of the pages of your website, the better you'll be able to perform in the after Hummingbird scenario. So James Cole has a question. He says, some people don't want to sign up for Google Plus account, so we use Facebook to promote. Thank you for your business cards sent to my office to ask for feedback. I think, James, you're asking if they don't have Google and you're giving them a card that says, hey, write us a review, and it takes them to the Google Places page, they're not going to do that because they don't have a Google account. And you're saying maybe use Facebook in order to do that. Yep, that and that's going to happen, right? And so when we request reviews, both through email requests and through the request cards, Google is probably the #1 place we want to get reviews because it's the main search engine, right? It's the main place people are using. It's got the lion's share of traffic. With that said, we do want to diversify where our reviews are being posted, whether it's on Facebook or Yelp or Angie's List. And so it might be a good idea to kind of think about how we can drive people to the review site of their choice. And Austin says, Review Buzz is a great company for reviews. I agree. I think Review Buzz is outstanding. A system that we tend to use and implement also is Nearby Now. Both great tools. Sometimes we've seen them used in tandem to create great content for your subpages and to really automate the review request process. So Austin Chase, thanks for sharing that. So like I said, I really want to share some case studies and some examples to really bring this together, because it's one thing for me to talk about, okay, you optimize your website and create these pages and change your title tag and your H1 tag, but sometimes stories and examples really help to bridge the gap. And so one of the companies that we've helped implement this is Southwest Plumbing Services out of Miami, Florida. And if you know anything about the South Florida economy, there was a time where building was on the boom. That was like in the 1990s, late 2000. Construction was at an all-time high. People were building, and Southwest Plumbing Services was a major commercial contractor. They were tied in with the big builders, and they had 100-plus employees, all focused on the commercial side of the equation. And you can imagine as building slowed down, so did business. And so the owner, Tom Watson, realized, man, I need to start to tap into some of the residential business opportunities that are out there, and internet's going to be key for that. And so he went ahead and he set up a homestead, build-it-yourself type website, something like what you see on the screen right now. And he was frustrated because he had the website and he spent his hard-earned energy building it. He did everything he thought that was important, created content, and he had some audio going in the background, but it really didn't drive much for him. It didn't rank in search, it didn't drive any calls, and it wasn't doing much. And so what we did was we moved him into a WordPress platform, and we built out the website like I'm talking about, pages for each one of his services, pages for each one of his cities, proper title tags, H1 tags, and you'll see if we now go and we type in Miami Plumber, he is in the A position. Miami water heater repair right there on page 1. And what I want you to see from this screenshot isn't that it's on page 1, but you see Miami water heater repair, and the link that shows up in search is the actual water heater repair page on his website. And the only way you can start to diversify what keywords you're showing up in search for is if you write specific content with title tags and H1 tags and actual page content for that specific keyword. So we type in Miami gas line repair right there on page 1 to the gas line repair page of the website. Miami boiler repair, #1 listing, straight to the boiler repair page on the website. Moving over to city pages, right within Miami, there's Palmetto Bay, and there's Pinecrest, and there's Kendall. And so if we type in Palmetto Bay Plumber, there's a page written specifically for the city of Palmetto Bay, and it talks about, if you're looking for a Palmetto Bay plumber, and Pinecrest Plumber, second listing, straight to the Pinecrest Plumber page. So the next piece of the equation is building out the website, is building the authority for the website. And we talked earlier about setting up the website, making sure we get pages for each one of our services, pages for each one of the cities. And I mentioned, that's the start. It doesn't mean we're ranking on page 1 for those, but it does mean we should start to show up in search. So for each one of these pages that we're adding, the emergency page and the drain cleaning page and the hydrojetting page and even the home page, what's going to bridge the gap between being on page 1 and being on page 3 or 4? And the answer is authority. And Google will serve and consider you authoritative based on the number of links, citations, and reviews back to your website. And the Google algorithm is constantly changing. What Google decides is important on a website in terms of links is changing. I mean, the latest algorithm, Google is really trying to combat spammy links. So the caveat to this is you need to have more links, but they have to be authoritative links. They can't just be garbage links. They need to be links from relevant sources that are relevant not just to your area, but your services as well. And so you want to have a strategy to build links that are completely above board. And so Austin Chase, his question is, how do you combat Google's algorithm changes that affect rankings? My answer to that is try and set up your website and your online marketing strategy, not just for the search engines, but more for the consumer. So you're creating pages on your website for each one of your services. That improves your probability of showing up in search, but it also adds value for the consumer, right? The customer that's looking for drain cleaning services and typed in your city plus drain cleaning appreciates the fact that you've got a page that talks about drain cleaning and answers the most commonly asked drain cleaning related questions. You've added value and you're above board. When you start to go down the path of trying to game the system, getting false links, buying links from unauthoritative places, creating spam content, or just duplicate content on your website, you're trying to beat the system, and that's how you wind up getting caught in Google's algorithmic changes. As long as you're creating good, fresh content that helps Google provide great value to its search results, you're going to be fine. So how do you get these links, and how do you make sure these links are clean, relevant links? And Austin says, great answer. Thank you. Thank you for the question, and thank you for your feedback. So there's a lot of places that you can get links. And again, I want to give you a visual that paints a picture that will help you see there really are a lot of places that you can tangibly go out and get relevant links to your website. As we talked about, in order to get ranked on the Google map, we want to be on all the major online directory listings on sites like City Search and Angie's List and Best of the Web and Hot Frog. Well, every one of those directories has a place where you can put in your company's name, address, phone number, and a link to your website. So being in those online directories gives you links to your website, and that's a great place to start. The next place is start looking at the online association websites that you're involved with. So if you're a PHCC member, if you're a QSC member, in a lot of cases, these online, the websites for these associations will have our member section, and you can get links from those our member sections back to your website. Another strategy that we found to work pretty well is to get links from people in your area that are non-competitive to you. So if you're the plumbing company and you've got a buddy that runs an HVAC business, he's got a website, you can have him link to your website, and of course you link to his website. Now don't confuse this for a link exchange. Link exchange where you're giving a link just for the sake of getting a link is a bad practice. Google frowns upon it. It's a bad idea. Now in this case, you're talking about somebody in your geographic area that offers a complimentary service. And so all you're saying is, I'm a plumbing company, and here are some of the value add providers that I work with. So if you need an HVAC company, if you need an electrician, here are some of the companies that I recommend. That's not spammy. It's totally above board. And so doing that with some of the strong players in your area will add value to both of your organizations and give you both more authority to rank better in search. There are the services that you buy from. You can get links from there. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn. I'm going to talk about how to leverage social media to connect with your customers and the power of that. But when you set up a Facebook profile, when you set up a Pinterest profile, when you set up a Twitter account, a YouTube channel, they all give you the ability to have a profile where you talk about your company and you have a link back to your website. That drives authoritative links. If you're involved in the local chamber of commerce, Business Networking International, any other networking group, they usually have member sites where you can list your company and have a link back to your website. So I really hope that this visual paints a picture of some of the low-hanging fruit, the links that you can get that will drive more authority to your website and will improve that probability of ranking on page 1 versus page 2 or page 3. The other critical element of link building and building authority is having great content. And so having a blog section on your website where you're putting out updates on a consistent basis is a very powerful way to draw inbound links to your website. And so whether you realize it or not, you're a subject matter expert. You have information in your head that isn't commonplace, that the average consumer doesn't have access to. And so just think about what some of your most commonly asked questions are. Think about some things that you explain on a pretty consistent basis. The difference between a tanked and tankless water heater. Why you might want to consider trenchless sewer replacement. And you can take that information that you know, that you own, that you can talk about intelligently for hours and convert it to content. Whether it's a video, whether it's an article, whether it's an audio recording, you can take that content and you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on article directory sites, you can put it on your blog, and by creating that good content, every time you post it, you can have a link back to your website. And not just your homepage, but maybe to one of these sub-pages, right? So if you talked about trenchless sewer replacement, you would drive a link back to the trenchless sewer replacement page on your website. Does that make sense? This is probably more powerful than anything else you can do, is creating good, consistent content and putting it out online and getting authentic, fresh links back to your website that will build your authority and help you rank better in search. And so another strategy for getting inbound links is to do competitive link acquisition. And this I like to call it kind of a ninja strategy because, getting yourself on the online directories, putting out good content, that's all great, but this is really ninja, right? This is some of the things you can do to take it to a whole nother level. And so I talked about if you've got your website set up right and you've got good content and you've got your title tags, that puts you in the index, but your authority is going to determine whether you rank on page 1 or page 5. If somebody's outranking you, just based on that definition, they're outranking you because they have more authority in terms of link citations and reviews. Well, there are tools that you can use to look at your top competition and see who's ranking in the #1 position in your area and see exactly what links they have. And if they've got 210 links and you've only got 22 links, then there's a gap. But the good news is you can see what the gap is and you can see what links they have, which Google obviously has determined as relevant, authoritative links. So with tools like Majestic SEO or Raven tools, you can run a report on your top competitor that ranks for the keyword you want to rank for. You can see where their links are coming from, and then go out and get those websites to link back to you. And so this is a great way to really take your links, your link building strategy to the next level, build your authority, and start to outrank your competition. Does that make sense on the building authority part? Create good content, be strategic with how you get links, and you will start to rank much better in search. Well, I hope you got a lot of value out of that training video. If you'd like to get even more details on how you really should be marketing your plumbing or HVAC business online, I'd encourage you to go to plumberseo.net/free. There you'll find a video training, completely free of charge, runs about an hour and 20 minutes, that goes into depth as far as what your overall internet marketing strategy should be if you want to maximize the potential of the internet, search engines, Google Maps, social media, pay-per-lead services, pay-per-click advertising within your plumbing or HVAC business. So just go to plumberseo.net/free. You'll be able to access that video training as well as an implementation guide that spells out how to do this stuff on your own. So again, that's plumberseo.net/free. I look forward to talking with you again soon.